The grandmother tree is fake, made up, and it's a tourist trap. Don't respond to them, please, and start fighting them. We'll block them, okay? If you do want to do this, remember something, ladies and gentlemen. You've got everyone on side. You've got every avenue backing you up. Close, fake, and it's rubbish. It's a slightly dodgy site, and yeah, it's a bit steep in places, or maybe occasionally a rock falls down. Man, you just lock it all up. Lock it all up.
The grandmother tree is a fictitious thing used for tourism.
Fictitious thing used for tourism. But Auntie Bev was the person who created this fictitious thing used for tourism. She's the one who called it the grandmother tree. Auntie Bev made up this fictitious thing used for tourism. It is drawing in cult activity. Cults are turning up there and doing culty things.
Hi, I'm from this cult.
It has to be, because how would he know who these people were unless they signed on as a cult? And which cults were they? How many have been there? I can tell you now. We were directed there by Klaus Sturner, who actually did a form of technology that we don't fully understand, and he claims that the Kariong Sacred area was once an ancient, massive city. Sydney, and he said, this is not a UFO, this is a whale. Now we think this is a mothership. Now remember, and a lot of people, and Nina knows this, and I'm sure Auntie Colleen knows this, around the 1990s, hundreds upon hundreds of people saw at Bambara, which is only about 2 kilometres from the glyphs, UFOs with 5 legs sucking up water. This, by the way, is not a made-up story. This comes from one of the top academics in this country. So I know that if you want to look at the cause, look at the government. It doesn't matter where you go in this country, ladies and gentlemen, this is the norm. The grandmother tree is fake, made up, and it's a tourist trap. Now, you might think, well, yeah, all this is a fictitious thing used for tourism. Auntie Bev was the person who created this fictitious thing used for tourism. She's the one who called it the grandmother tree. She was the one at the very start. The government are the ones who are behind all of this, but there are players, and the players have to be named. I've worked with Nina, I've worked with Jake, I've worked with everyone there. Every time I always go with others there, and I've been there and we've researched everything, and we've been doing this for 10 years. Not just popping in like a group of academics did in the late 80s and looked around and said, oh yeah, this is rubbish, and walked away. Nothing about ancient Egyptian writings. But anyway, we'll get to that later. Oh no, I heard that Deranged checked this. No, it wasn't at Sydney Uni students in 1960. And by the way, isn't that what Auntie Bev said? That's the first time we said it, because we got it from our elders. We don't speak about things until we're told. And when we're told the truth, we speak it out. Long ago, wasn't it? Yeah, he told me this. They left 400 years ago when they broke the law, and I won't go through the details of what happened then, but they were here. They came here through an ocean-going boat, and look what's engraved in the rocks. 200 metres, this one, from the ocean. And by the way, the Sydney Morning Herald were going to cover this article, but then things went wrong. We won't talk about why. We think this is the beginning of life, and that sperm in the centre is the focal point that it all radiates from, and we've measured the whole thing up. They didn't, we did. This is the UFO guy that came through space through the Milky Way. Isn't that what Auntie Bev said too?
Yeah.
And you've got to remember what Auntie Bev told us. That when a male was given ceremony, they would be given a star marker, and that star, because you've got to do as on top, so below. Heavily vandalised, because now they know that it's fake. They're trying to destroy this tree, which is at least 500 years old, and as Jake said a couple of days ago in an interview, and I'm going to talk to Lisa about that interview on the radio, we'll come up to that. It has made that aluminium stronger than the hardest steel we've ever seen. We used every tip to try and cut it. We couldn't get through, and we had used a diamond tip to even get the cut, and that took a lot of time. He said, we cannot believe how strong that metal is. And he said to me, funny record. He said to me, you can make billions of dollars, you can make aluminium stronger than metal. What was put in there? I know the answer, and I can tell you now, it's what we think it is. He made it clear, it's not on the earthly periodic table. The glyphs have been there, according to our sources, which we think are impeccable, for at least 180,000 years. Because people can use words and do them in so many different ways that are wrong. But when it's the delivery, that tells me more about the motivations behind the person than the actual words. And hopefully hit them in the head and split their head open. They meant to do that. And they were the people who were saying, you're an idiot. No, that's not quite right. You look at the actions behind that. We just got rid of them. Think about that. The delivery of the people who are doing this will not listen to facts. They will not listen to empirical evidence that we found over the years. What they will listen to, because we've got the truth. We have the truth. Because they don't respect anything. They've lost their way. And what Arnie Bev said is, when we take people on the country, you would have heard us say, make sure you bring the right people. A couple of times we've had people on country that shouldn't be there, haven't we?
Yep.
What do we tell them to do?
Leave.
All we said was, you're not right for this country. Arnie Bev told us not to bring people on that shouldn't be there. You shouldn't be there. Unfortunately, a lot of other people have been on the country that should have never been there. And look what's happened today, which is what Arnie Collins spoke about. And that's the most important part of this equation. If you go onto that place, even if you're a member of a cult, and these so-called cult people, what are they doing? They're not trashing the place, are they? I'd much prefer cult people on. They're going to behave like that than lands council. It doesn't matter whether you do or don't think that's the case. People go there. They've heard about it. The whole world knows about this site. Make sure, believe me, we've spoken about it in shows all over the world. Millions have heard about that site. Every one of those people you saw that we showed you pictures of knew about that site before they came, and others do too. It means it's become sacred irrespective of what anyone says.
Yeah.
Oh, unless it's during warfare, then you can do what you want. But normally it's an outrage. And they go there because they want to do meditation and spiritual connection. What is wrong with that? An original culture and law. Where else can they go where they can freely do that and feel comfortable doing it? It's there.
Thank you very much. I hope everybody enjoyed it today, and we will see you all again very soon.